Welcome to the Exceptionally Irresistible Show, featuring conversations with people who have demonstrated exceptional success in their lives and who have some irresistible qualities worth learning from. Come learn how others have created an exceptionally irresistible life. You too can live an extraordinary life, both personally and professionally. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. Do we have an episode for you today? As you know, we're coming very, very close to the end, and we have just a couple more guests for you. And today's guest is just an honor and a privilege to really be to interview this guy. I can't believe he said yes, but it's really, really exciting. And I'm just going to give you a quick little intro to Marques Ogden, who is an NFL player, a previous NFL player, had all kinds of amazing things happen in his story. You know, he's the real deal of when it comes to that entrepreneur roller coaster that we talk about, that, you know, like those in and outs, the real comeback kid, you know, all these different incredible things. And he's learned so many lessons in his life. And today he inspires so many people, top 10 speaker, top, world-class author, he win. It's unbelievable. You guys are going to love this episode, and I can't wait to share it with you. And that's why I'm just going to call him right in right now, and we're going to have the chat. So, hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. Jeremy, how are you, sir?
So excited. And I just, when we first met, through our mutual contact, when he was telling me the story, I was blown away. When I heard the story from you, I was blown away. And I feel that this is so exceptionally irresistible that we really, really have to share it with the world. And that's why my first question to you, Mark, today is what I ask everybody. Imagine you were standing on some rooftop somewhere and you have a bullhorn and you're screaming out to the world some kind of message that everybody just needs to hear. What is that message?
The message is, no matter what you are going through, focus on the end result, or don't look at it, look through it. And what I mean is, don't look at all the work it's going to take to get where you want to go. See where you want to go. For example, right, Jeremy, I went through a divorce about 2 years ago. I filed. I had to move into a broken down, not really healthy place to live apartment. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for me and my, at the time she was 8 years old, my 8-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And what happened is that I ended up moving there because I didn't have much time to get out of where I was at my home. I only had 2 weeks. So trying to find a place that was fully furnished, I didn't own anything, nothing, right? So what I'm telling you is I had to move somewhere suddenly, not because I wanted to, in a hurry. It wasn't a great place, not a lot of light, not a lot of place for me to see type of beautiful scenery. And I started to erode from the inside for about the first 2.5 months. And then I finally said enough is enough. And then I visualized what I wanted. I vocalized that I was good enough, that I am a good person. I deserve better. I voted every day by doing something positive to move myself out of where I was. And then I ventured out and I found people just like you, Jeremy, who are just good people that I could attract to, and I created my tribe. Your vibe needs to attract your tribe. So again, by doing that, I was able to then get my focus back. I was moving to my brand new beautiful home that I bought about 15 months ago. Wow. And now here I am in our business, working hard, thriving. Do I have tough days? Absolutely. But I've become a person that has learned how to become, not overcome. Because when you become, you are somebody that can stand and deal with all the things happening in life. So again, I learned, if you're listening to this, don't look at it, look through it.
I love that. I love that message so much. And, when we were having our little pre-interview, when we were just getting to know each other, that message really resonated with me so much for the reason that I was sharing with you the hardships that I was going through, and every time somebody told me, light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, the hell with light at the end of the tunnel. Like I need light now. I need, now, and that thing of going through, and really kind of like focusing on we're having a storm here, so this is exciting, but it's just after effects, so we're good. But just to have the having the ability to really visualize and knowing that end goal, even though I wasn't attached to the goal, and I want to talk to you about that in a second. I wasn't attached to the end goal, but at least I had a vision of I knew where I was going to, and I knew I had a target, and I wanted to reach that target. So I'm actually curious to ask you, when you're sharing with us, having that end goal, that vision in mind, what does that actually look like? What in practical terms, it's like, is it a dream? Is it like, like what is it exactly? How would you demonstrate that?
So basically, I tell people all the time, right? If you're in a situation, you need to think about where you want to get to and see it and realize that what you're going through is not permanent,
Mm,
right? As long as you don't give up,
right.
right? When you keep getting up, when you keep fighting, when you keep doing what you need to do, that's when great things happen. So
Mm,
if you're in hell right now, which unfortunately a lot of people are, we're
yeah.
about to go through a very contentious, very, low blow swinging presidential election. And it's
Mm,
not going to be fun. It's
yeah.
not going to be easy. I don't care. I saw something interesting. If you're the left wing and the right wing, you're still in the same bird. We're the
Yeah.
same country. We're all one country. We all
Right.
need to come together. So again,
Yeah.
whoever wins doesn't matter. It's not going to be pretty because the other side is not going to make it so. So you
Right.
have to be prepared for that. And just like
Yes.
in situations in life, when things happen you don't expect, you have to be prepared to keep moving forward. So
Yeah.
again, what I tell people is don't just worry about where you are, right? Think about where you are, right? And understand what you're going through. Like I said, I was in that apartment. It wasn't good. It wasn't
Mm,
healthy. It wasn't welcoming. But I didn't allow that to get me down. Was it hard every single day? You better believe it. I
so good.
slept terrible for 7 months. I was eating really junk food. I was
Mm,
drinking a lot. And now I've lost probably 30 pounds in the last six
wow.
months. I can actually see my face thinning, much thinner out. And I live a lifestyle now where I'm training and I'm running and I'm watching what I eat and living better. And because of that, everything around me is better. So
Yeah.
again, if you're in that spot, I've been there. Jeremy's been there. But focus on how to get out of it by understanding that the moment you're in is not permanent.
Yeah, and I love that answer because, for example, when COVID was happening, my wife and I, we were living in Los Angeles at the time. I built an entire career there. I built an entire life, almost a decade there, and I had it all lined up. I had it figured out in a sense, right? That it happens to all of us. We have life, quote unquote, figured out, and all of a sudden, these lockdowns were starting to happen, and I look over to my wife and I say, this just doesn't match my lifestyle. I don't like being locked down. And if you're gonna lock me down on 2 acres of land. So we came out here to beautiful Lake Lure, North Carolina. It's a beautiful vacation town, and we just rented an Airbnb. That's what we did. And we ended up buying the Airbnb that we were renting, and we ended up selling it, and we ended up buying here, and we ended up, where we are. And had it not been for the foresight of saying, I'm not going to allow this situation take me down, if it wasn't for that and living in the moment, like you said, seeing the light at the tunnel where I'm at right now, if it wasn't for that decision, I don't think I would be a homeowner today. I don't think I would have the lifestyle I live today. I don't know where I would be today. And life is so different, but it's exactly to the point you just made, is that I'm not gonna, whatever the outcome, the future outcome is, I don't know. I'm not attached to it, as I said before, but I'm looking at where I am now. I'm looking at my lifestyle that I would like to achieve, and I'm taking action on that now, here, immediately. So I love everything you just shared. I really resonate, and I think the audience could learn so much from that. And I'm curious to ask you, Mark. I know you have a remarkable story of the NFL and all that. Like that's so cool. And is it anything to do with your sports background that you have this mindset? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, in sports, you're not going to win every battle. You're going to be tested. You're going to lose battles. You're going to have to get up when you get knocked down and get back in the game. And that's life,
Mm,
right? So I remember one time I was 15 years old. I was a rising junior in high school playing football. And I remember I was about to quit playing football because we
mm,
had our first day of practice on offense and I wasn't starting. And to make it worse, my brother was the number 4 draft pick overall in that draft to
wow.
the newly formed Baltimore Ravens, about an hour from me in Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm,
So he was drafted as an offensive tackle. So I felt like, wow, my brother's a first lineman taken, number 4 overall, and here I am. I can't even start on my varsity team as at offensive tackle. I remember really what happened from there, right? I told my dad, I'm quitting football. I'm done. And my dad said, okay, Marcus, if you want to quit football, you don't want to play anymore, that's okay. Go upstairs and then don't come down for practice tomorrow. You're going to feel great tomorrow. You'll feel
mm,
okay the next day, the day after. But a month goes by, 6 months goes by, a year goes by, boom, you're not going to feel that way. And I'm
mm.
like, so he said, either come down, we go to practice, and you don't talk, complain, or you stay upstairs, play video games, and your football career is over. And
Wow.
he made me make the choice. And I said, let's go to practice. Didn't run my mouth, did my job. And my
Mm,
coach told me, Marcus, you were starting on defense, but we hadn't got to defense yet. Now
mm.
you want to cry because you're not starting on offense. Now you're second team defense. Go and work your way back up. Have a nice day.
Wow.
And I had to work my way back up. And I started on defense as a junior. That was a two-way starter as a senior. And then I got
Mm,
zero offers to play college football until the very end when Howard University, where my dad went to school, came to the table, said, here's a full scholarship.
wow.
Went to Howard, became a 4-year starter, and I'm the first and still, the only offensive lineman ever drafted into the National Football League from Howard University. And
Wow.
I say that because my football career almost ended at my junior year. So to
Mm,
answer your question most directly, yes, absolutely.
mm.
Football taught me so much about how to have the mindset and the perseverance to get up off the canvas when life knocks me down.
Right. And I'm taking from your story because I mean I can't hear it enough. It's so remarkable. And what I'm really taking for me, like this takeaway from what you just shared is like you are the one who almost ended your career before it even started. It
Mhm.
was really your decision to go upstairs and to, go play video games. And, maybe it was an assumption, maybe it was a fear, maybe it was, I don't know. I mean, it's your story, but it's unbelievable that it's that decision, even though it probably was encouraged by your dad or whatever, but it was your decision to get up off your, sitter, and you are the one who showed up to the training. You took the beating of, whatever position you were going to get. Maybe you wanted a better one, but you did the work. You showed up,
Mhm.
and Mark showed up as Mark, and whatever that meant, and whatever. I think that's a remarkable story. Not just the fact of your achievements, not just. I think that is a turning point. Wouldn't
Oh,
you?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because if I had stopped playing football, my
Mm,
life today, like this behind me, this NFL jersey that hangs on my wall from the Baltimore Ravens, my Jacksonville Jaguar helmets in my man cave, my life, our podcast started because one of my good friends, Gus Farrat, former NFL quarterback,
mm,
he started it was actually NFL alumni media, and then it
wow.
became alumni media. But I started the Get Authentic with Marques Ogden podcast because of Gus Farrat saying, Marcus, I know you had another show, you stopped doing it, you were really great, don't give up. And he basically pushed me to start the new show. But if I'm not an NFL athlete, NFL alumni media, I never join.
Wow.
So it all comes back to that one moment.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And For those of us who are not NFL athletes or such remarkable achievements, how does that relate to a regular person, a regular off the street person? Things are hard. Probably things are going to get harder. We don't know. We don't know what's going to come, as you mentioned. The political atmosphere, whatever. We don't know, and so a lot of people are facing fear. A lot of people are facing uncertainty. What's that one decision that they can make today that says, I don't care what life throws at me, I'm going to succeed, and whatever that means, for that person. But what's that one message?
That one message is take action in whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care if you want to start a business, start a restaurant, become a personal trainer, start a gym, start a podcast, start speaking. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Whatever it is that you want to do, start by taking action now.
Yeah.
And that's what matters most. So many people in life, unfortunately, never live their best life because they never take the action to do it. Right? I mean, Jeremy, so many people said, Marques, why are you keynote speaking? What are you thinking? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? You have no experience. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to share a message. And you know what? At that time, they were 100% right. I didn't know what I was doing. But a great quote by the 19th president of the United States, Mr. Rutherford B. Hayes, every expert was once a beginner. Everybody starts somewhere. And if you're not willing to start, then you can never become, right? What we talk about. Don't overcome, become. If you never ever start, you can't become the best, the greatest. You can't become a Muhammad Ali in boxing. You can't become a Michael Jordan in basketball. You can't become a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to fight for equal rights. You can't become an Abraham Lincoln that signed the Emancipation Proclamation, that actually wrote the Gettysburg Address. You can never, ever become any of those things that you want to become if you never take action to get where you're trying to go.
And I love that. And I first of all, I absolutely fell off my chair the first time I heard the overcome versus become thing. I love it. I love it. And it's something to what I talk a lot about, like let's say a sales pitch versus a sales presentation, right? That nuance, that key difference between the two, it really says, like, I'm not here to pitch at you some idea that I have. I'm here to present to you some idea that I have. And how does that tie in? Is this idea that if I feel like I have to overcome a challenge, or if I have to overcome something, I'm resisting. I'm creating this resistance. I'm creating this struggle. I'm creating this, this fight, if you will. Whereas the becoming is I'm getting a clear image in my mind. Let's say I'm sure you joined the NFL to be a winner. Like why would you go on a team for what? You don't
go on a team to lose.
Right? Yeah. And you had this vision that I want to go be the best, version of player that I could be to the best of my ability. I'm going to join this team and I'm going to win to the best of my ability. That's why you did that. Not to create resistance, So what was that, when, like, give us a little bit like an insight when the mind of Mark, when he got off that bed, or that, you got off your sitter and you went to that practice and you said, what was like?
I said to myself that if I'm going to become what I want to become in life, I have to learn to deal with adversity and not let negativity hold me back. Just because I wasn't starting on varsity as an offensive lineman doesn't mean, or didn't mean, that I maybe not end up being that, which I actually did become.
Wow.
So it was a whole lesson for me to learn that just because you're not getting something that you want right now doesn't mean you can't have what you want later on. And I had to really learn that. I had to really, get that into my, my thought process, into my system. And as a result of that, that's how I got to the point of where I am today, speaking, coaching, all these things. Because if I would have listened to all the naysayers, the negative people, the critics that were saying, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you insane? Literally, where I'm at today wouldn't be, right? Wouldn't be. So it's
Yeah.
huge in that regard because, again, like I said, life is going to, it's not if life knocks you down, it's when life
Mm.
knocks you down.
Mm, yeah, yeah. And that is the beautiful part of your story that, you shared with me and that you share with the world is that you're that real comeback kid, if you will. You had an amazing career in NFL. You started a business. You lost that business. You rebuilt. You like just all these like back and forth, the ups and the downs, and all these different things. And you know, talk to us a little bit about what that was like to have something, lose it, have something, lose it, have something, lose it. What, like what is that, Mark? Like, I'm just so curious.
It is the sign of an individual who just won't give up.
Yeah,
That's what it is,
yeah.
right? And it's interesting, right? So in life, you're going to always be challenged.
Mm.
Always. For example, right? Just saw just a second ago, had a podcast interview coming up. They canceled 6 minutes
Oh my
before the interview. 6 minutes.
God. Mm.
And you know what? The old me were like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Da, da, da. All I'm going to do, call my producer, say, hey, Ben, sorry, man, we're ready to roll. They dropped out. And you know what? Will I reschedule them? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to really worry about it at this point because at the end of the day, this is the whole thing of like life,
Yeah.
right? Up, down, all around. This
Right.
is the authentic me. I have a saying, well, I have 3 words that we live by with our brand: engage, enlighten, educate. And
Ooh.
we do that by sharing authentic stories of who we are and what I'm and who I am. But at the end of the day, I have been up, I have been down, I've been all around. And I tell everyone at the end of the day, it's so important that you remember this golden rule.
Mm.
Life is not linear.
Mm.
It won't be straight line, but you have to do the best you can to handle the curves and sways. And that, my friend, is the essence of winning, whatever that means to you in your life.
I love it. I love it. I have last two questions for you, Mark. This is just such a conversation I never wanted to end, but there's two more questions I have for you. One is, when you were sharing with me the story of your latest comeback, coming into your now home, from the apartment, you kept telling yourself, you kept having some kind of affirmation or some kind of positive thinking that you were telling yourself, Mark, get up or something. What did that look like? What could you demonstrate to us what that looks like when you're coming against adversity? What are you telling yourself to get out of it?
Once I stopped feeling sorry for myself, I told myself this simple saying every single day: I deserve better.
Wow.
Every day,
Hmm.
I deserve better.
Hmm.
And it took a little bit of time, but once I truly believed that I deserved better, then I went to work and nothing held me back. And that's the attitude, like I said, like what happened with this podcast, right?
Yeah.
I deserve better, right? So just call my producer, go on about what I need to get done, and just keep moving on. Like
Wow.
so many people get caught up, and I consider this complain, like, oh, I gotta, nah, man. I mean, okay, I'll finish doing what I'm doing,
Mhm.
call him, get a little work done. I'll go ahead, I'll go out to FedEx. I have 3 people that are huge in the insurance space. One is one of my best friends, another 2 guys that are big in movers and shakers. I'm gonna go mail them a Get Authentic shirt. Mick has been on
Mhm.
my show. I'm interviewing the other 2 guys coming up here later this month and into September. I'm going to start using these things to kind of get into as like a thank you, stay on people's radar. I'm going to spend my time where I can control the outcome.
Love it.
And that, my friend, is what it's all about.
Love
Learning
it.
how to go through life with what you can control and what you can't control, just don't worry about.
Wow. So, Mark, last question, short, simple. I'm so inspired by the story. I'm sure the audience is too. What inspires you to keep going, to keep driving you? There has to be some kind of driving force, a burning light under you. What is that? What's your inspiration?
I continue to do what I do for 3 reasons. One, to support my daughters. I have a 20-year-old stepdaughter and a 10-year-old daughter, so I want them to have the best. Number 2, I want our clients to always have the best. And number three, it's very nice when people who told you time and time again you would never amount to anything in this field, and you're doing it and you're loving it, and most importantly, people love you for it. That's also part of my inspiration to keep going and never have a finish line in this race of life. And because of that mentality, I'm always thinking, what's next? What's this? What's that? And because of that, now, my friend, we're living the best life that we can. So again, I want to inspire, like I said, for my daughters. I want to inspire and educate and make my clients, people successful. And I want to show the people, you know what? It may have taken me a lot longer than I thought to get here. But you know what? I'm here and I'm not going anywhere.
Love it. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. You're so generous. Your story, unbelievable. Super inspiring. I'm sure so many have taken away so much from it. That does conclude this week's episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. Thank you so much, Mark, and we'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye, guys. That's it for this week's episode of the Exceptionally Irresistible Show. What has inspired you to take action in your life? Take action now. Take the first step. Share it with a friend or write it in a journal. Subscribe and share this episode, and remember, you too are exceptionally irresistible.